Productive Dentist Academy podcast network.
I know it's common to think that the right technology or equipment can really create progress, and it does. But what few really, I think, realize is that progress without people alignment is just expensive chaos. Since joining PDA in 2023, Dr. Chris Comer experienced 17% growth in the first year and then another 28% in the next year. But this year came the stall, the dreaded stall. Today, we're going to dig into how Dr. Chris built those wins, what shifted, and how, as a leader, he continues to turn this stall into strategy. So, welcome, Dr. Chris Comer, to Everyday Practices Dental Podcast.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great because I'm here with you. You know, I'm going to love to dive into this story with you. Well, first of all, where do you practice?
I'm in Savannah, Georgia. It's beautiful.
Oh, I've never been to Savannah, Georgia, but it's been on my bucket list for a really long time. I moved out to Atlanta. Yeah.
You can do better.
I know,
Move
right?
move it up the list.
It needs to be a priority for sure. And tell us a little bit about your practice. Are you a general dentist, cosmetics? What is your passion?
So I'm a general dentist, and we take it about as far as you can as a general dentist. So we do implant surgeries, and we do crown and bridge rehabs and cosmetic work that goes with that. We'll do endodontics, dentures, everything that's fun. We'll do all the cool stuff.
I like that you said that that's fun. So of all of those, which is your favorite?
It ebbs and flows over the years, but right now I'm back into crowns. It's getting exciting again. Yeah. Used to be pretty dry and boring, but and implants are fun too.
Yeah.
But it's just gotten so routine now. It's fine. It doesn't have the thrill anymore.
Challenge. Oh, the thrill. Well, I know we're going to talk a little bit about technology a little bit later on. So I want to know about maybe what's changed in that and what's sparked your passion for it again. But take us back to 2023. What was happening in the practice before you met Productive Dentist Academy?
Sure. So I purchased this practice from a retiring dentist in 2013, and it's your very normal 5-op, 2 hygiene, 2 assistant, 1 front, just a normal general office, and had a lot of fun for 10 years. And then I was getting to a point where I thought it would be a shame to just go on cruise control and not reach potential. Like, we should really see where we can take this. And so at that point, I said, well, it's time to get a coach. That's what you do for anything in life. If you want to get better at something, you need to get a coach or a team. And so then I just started research, all the top consulting companies at that time, and just set up interviews with each one, and just took it as a systematic approach. And there's not magic to it. Like, the top companies are probably going to bring you some benefit. But PDA I found appealing because the company culture was similar to my office. The practice style was similar. So it wasn't something that was going to require ethical challenges or a paradigm shift. It was just going to be, let's get serious. Let's redo systems, and let's put things in motion. And so for me, PDA was the right fit at that time. Now, other people may prefer other companies, but I just did research, interviews, went on Dental Town, went on Facebook, talked to other people that had used, each company that I was considering, and PDA really sort of found its way to the top of the list, and it worked out well.
Could you tell me a little bit about your culture? You'd mentioned that there was a cultural alignment and that the ethical standards would be there. What is your culture like? Like in 2023, where you were at that time?
2023. So our practice is not, it's not a high volume practice. So we can set the pace that we want, and we like patient education, which PDA has a focus on, and we like to give patients reasonable options. And then, if they do it, great. If they don't, I don't care. There's no arm twisting. There's no high pressure sales. It's just the more patients know, the more interested they're going to be in treatment offered. If you can offer it, I can't provide every single treatment option, but within reason.
So in that first year, 17% growth is really commendable, and then 28% the following is remarkable. Over those 2 years, what did you and your team do differently that really like what started the momentum? Because it's always like that first step and then it gets easier and easier, or maybe not in your case. I don't know. You tell us.
Yeah,
What
well,
did you do differently?
yeah, that's the fun of it all. Is one of the first things that I never did previously was I never did any long term planning as far as the practice. Maybe with a financial guy for some retirement or something like that, but not specifically for the dental practice. I didn't have uh, specific goals for the practice or metrics to measure. So a lot of it was just adding intentionality and um, using all the cool software to track everything and taking all that information and then using it in the practice. So uh, without any set goals, it's it's very hard to drive growth. But when you have, you know, an end in mind, you really, really have a much easier path. And so that was huge. Just what's possible and set a reasonable goal, and then let's go ahead and see. Let's work backwards. What do we need to do to make that happen?
You'd mentioned systems a little bit early on there, and having a systems alignment also as well. So having setting the goals, it's amazing to me with how much as leaders we talk about goals, and I feel like that is always top of mind. Is it a smart goal? Is it what kind of goal is it? But when you're in the day to day, I mean, you're doing the day to day, and as long as the bills are getting paid, you're moving forward. So I'm curious in that, because well, I say this because a lot of dentists get stuck in this, a lot of leaders get stuck in this and assume that growth just means working harder and not really making the time to look through and say, okay, is it something with our systems? Is it in the case, I'm not setting goals and being intentional about that? Was there anything that you stopped doing that made a difference?
Yeah, I think the big difference was just the overhaul that the scheduling needed, and that really changes everything because we were in the classic trap of scheduling badly, um, leaving ourselves working too hard, um, you know, burning out with like no production to show for it in a given day, and you're like, that's why did we come to work today? That didn't make any sense. Like we're just really treading water. This is crazy. And then you'll have like, a couple of great days to balance out the really terrible days. And it was a lot more fun once we really got on the same page and got the team aligned for scheduling in a more uh, efficient manner and a more predictable manner so that we could just sort of level off all our production for the month.
So between year 1 and year 2, did you feel like that really got stabilized, so there was no roller coaster anymore? Did it feel a lot more steady each month, like you could forecast better?
Yes, it took the bulk of the first year to really get the scheduling dialed in. It was a long process, but that's well worth it. I don't I don't get too worried about, if it's can be done in 2 months or 3 months. Well,
Yeah.
if it's 6 months, it's okay. It's going to be for the life of the practice. So it just doesn't matter. And we struggled. Um, my team is wonderful, and they had just never seen any scheduling system before of any type. So, there's different ideas: block scheduling, scheduling to production, and like several others, but they had never used any. So that was just a big change, and big change is always difficult. Um, Inertia is a powerful force, so we struggled with that throughout the year. And once it made sense, it was pretty smooth afterwards.
I'm curious because I know that change management is a topic in and of itself. And do you feel that when you had your goals and then you identified the scheduling piece and implementing that piece, did you implement a lot of other changes at that time as well? Were there other areas that you were working on in the practice that the team was adopting and changing?
We were, and that was always the fear, was that we would add too many changes at once, or my fear. I didn't want to overwhelm anyone. And as the dentist, we're all notorious for just like, well, let's just do everything this way now, always, forever. And it's not reasonable. I mean, you wouldn't have that at any other company. I mean, it's myopic. So we tried to pick like 2 or 3 big things for the year and implement those in stages. And there'd be setbacks, but the big things needed to get done, and the smaller things, we try to work those in between. And sometimes it stuck, and sometimes it took longer, but you just have to do these things.
Do you find I call myself a late stage adopter with an innovation heart. So I am very cautious. I can be really risk averse. And I don't know, like I want to feel it all out. And there's that tipping point when you're thinking and you need to be acting and doing. And I love what's on the horizon. Like I love the future and what I see. When I think about you talking about being passionate about what's exciting right now with crowns and some of the technology probably that goes with that, how do you balance that between clinician and innovative heart with the business owner and leader that is risk averse and maybe wants to make sure that everything is kind of stable and predictable?
Yeah, that's a tricky balance, because you don't want to go and buy all the toys and not have a way to implement it successfully. And that's a whole conversation right there. But it's I try to just take any new idea. I'm game for it. If anyone on the team has an idea, something they want to try, like, I'm not going to say no to anything unless it's just awful. But like, I'm flexible, and I want to hear what other people have to say. So if there's something new that we want to try, my thinking is, let's give it a go, an honest trial. Let's do it for 3 months, and if it's a nightmare, just forget about it, take it out, move on. And if it's working, let's just keep it going. But you got to give it the test run.
Do you think coaching supports you with that messaging out to the team too? Do you find that it has maybe lowers some of the nervousness around it?
It does, because I've even seen other consultants suggest that the owner should be like schizophrenic in a way, and always have the team on edge with new ideas that they're just going to drop on them. And I just think that's a terrible, terrible idea. Makes no sense. You want everyone on the same page. You want people to buy in. You want them excited. And um, yeah, communication's everything. Your team needs some level of transparency. So I like to, get feedback before making big leaps, and make sure that this is something that everyone's going to be okay with. If there's going to be a lot of pushback, sometimes it's just not even worth it. So we'll just skip that.
Yeah, I can hear that in my head already, and I can't imagine. I'd love to have a podcast guest with a schizophrenic leader and from the team's perspective. That would be really
Madness. Oh, they'd be so stressed, so angry.
no. That'll be another episode on team turnover.
It's a thing. You see it.
It totally is. Well, after 2 years of what I consider to be really big wins, and thank you for letting us into your mindset so we kind of understand how you approach change and how you approach the team. You started this year to kind of slow that change down and kind of stall a little bit. And when did you realize that growth was slowing and maybe it wasn't going where you thought it was going to go?
Before I started with PDA, I had it in my mind. I thought, we can probably make changes and streamline, grow, but it's probably going to taper off and then just be
Yeah.
smaller leaps. And so I was like, it'll probably be a couple of years, and it kind of landed around that time. And so now we had our down quarter, and now we're kind of on the upswing, and it's fun. It's not interesting if you don't have a couple of hiccups along the way. I mean, that's not life. There's got to be downs with the ups, and it's been a good ride. We've been enjoying it, but a lot of the first 2 years growth is going to be fixing all the low hanging fruit, fixing all the things that just need to happen, and so you're going to get a jump there, I would feel, and then afterwards, you're more of a slow sustained growth, unless you're going to do some sort of major change, expand your office, add a dentist, something else. I'm not sure.
So you had anticipated that the growth would slow, and that was going to be a natural occurrence. So it wasn't a shock or anything like that. And if I hear you well, it also sounds like the nuances were going to have to come into play. So it would be intentional changes moving forward. What were some of the well, did you? So did you for 2025 and 2026, are you putting out big goals again, or are you putting maybe a smaller goal in place? How are you approaching your goals right now?
Yeah, so I was just doing my paperwork for the 2026 year. Uh, I got to scan it in just a minute. And we're looking for like a more modest percentage increase, but still onward and upward. So I think it looks good.
Were there any changes that you identified between January and now that you put into place to help you, even in your modest growth? Were there the nuances that you identified as being something out of alignment?
So we added an office manager, which we had not had before, and that's going to be nice to kind of offload some of the chores that I don't really want to do, and that's been good. But there's a lot of training that goes with that, so that's been up until about now, and now we're tracking pretty well. So that's going to be a nice addition.
That's going to be a great addition.
Just for growth.
How how was how was the process of finding that office manager? Because team turnover is the number one hot topic right now. Staffing challenges all year long has been the big issue.
Everywhere, all over the country.
Yeah.
Everyone's got the same problem. Um, wasn't great, wasn't a fun experience, but we've had low turnover as long as I can remember. We're very lucky in that respect. But attracting talented people but there's just not that many out there. I don't know any other way to put it, but we pulled a gentleman from outside of dental and just trained up from scratch, and I think it's been pretty cool. We're liking it.
Really? Did you use a service to help you, like a recruiting service or
Didn't We're too cheap.
it's
No.
it's okay if you hired a great office manager. I'm just genuinely curious because I know people are probably leaning in right now if you're listening and you're saying, "Yeah, I need an office
Yeah, like what's the
manager."
secret? The
Yeah.
secret is
Is there a secret?
terrible. It's so terrible. It's just it's just time and luck. I don't know any way to put it. It's such a bad experience right now. People looking for hygienists, looking for dental assistants. It's all a mess right now.
And when did you bring your office manager in?
April. So,
They've been here for
but
a
that
while.
is, yeah, it took a few months to find someone. And then that started in April, and now, we're pretty trained up on the dental world now.
Oh, for the office manager. So the office manager feels more aligned with what's going on.
You got to learn all the lingo and whatnot, and see the procedures and stuff.
How did you communicate it to your team when you brought the office manager in and said, this person is a great fit, and by the way, surprise, they don't have any dental experience?
Yeah, they were not too worried about the no dental experience, because they're like, really, it's a management job. It's not like a clinical gig. So they were okay with that. And we just said, look, we want to add a manager. We want to do some more growth. So it's time to add another position to the office.
Were there other things that you've handed off? So I love where you said, I didn't need to be doing that. So I don't hear of a lot of practices that don't have an office manager or someone designated with the duties of it. Were there any other things that you've handed off this year or are looking forward to delegating? That's another hot topic, is delegation.
Yes. I love delegation. I love it. Love it. Love it. I don't want to do anything. I mean, that's the sad truth. I don't know any other way to put it. I just want to.
You want to do some crowns?
Do the teeth part. Do the teeth, maybe gums, and that's kind of it. And the rest is just not for me. Just not my thing. But some people love it.
So were there other things that you feel like you have delegated this year that has given you more space to enjoy the dentistry part?
So we've passed off all the most of the business type stuff, like the back office things that happen on Friday. I don't like to do all those. So that's been cool. Just to have someone handle all that. And we also use, and have used since I bought this practice 2013, we use an offsite dental billing company. We use dental claim support, which is now rebranded dental management. I'm not sure, but still DCS consulting, I think is maybe what they're going by, but they're fantastic. And so they've always maintained all of our AR for us, insurance filings, all the stuff that needs to happen. They've always done that with zero drama, all in the background. Loved it. Local company, nationwide. So we're big fans.
Oh, that's incredible. Has delegating been something that just comes naturally and easily to you?
I think I'm like most owners of small businesses or practices, where they try to do everything and it never works. And I recognize it. I don't mean to do it, but there's just that awful mindset of like, well, I can just do it myself faster. And
I'll raise all three
terrible.
hands. It is.
Everyone does it. Everyone does it. It's awful. And really, you just have to spend some time training. Just train and delegate, and just accept that it may not be the way you do it or to the level you do it until the training's done. So it's just a process, and you got to do it.
Something I have used lately is zone of genius. So I've reminded myself, what is the zone of genius for each role, for each person, and are they in the controlling idea that way? And that has been something that's helped lessen it a little bit for me, and make delegation, right, make it a little bit easier. Do you feel like your momentum is going with that too? Especially handing off the financial elements, which is huge, and to be able to trust that and let that piece go.
Well, we say trust.
Okay.
But verify.
Okay.
But we got some embezzlement stuff in place to like try to avoid issues. We got systems and checks and balances and all that stuff. We just can't not blindly trust anyone, but some of this stuff.
Absolutely. Well, getting back to the dentistry part of it and what you enjoy doing, let's talk technology a little bit and how that journey has evolved over the past couple of years for you. So have you updated your technology, brought anything in? Why are you passionate about crowns now?
We're pretty tech heavy office. So we've got all the stuff, whatever you want, we have it, and all the toys, and it's great. So I was very late. I have a lot of 3D printers, but I was very late to the milling game. And so we didn't do that until this year. And that's been a lot of fun. Just because now it's like changes the way you schedule slightly in a positive way and gives you some new opportunities. So now, if we're doing quadrant dentistry and, one or two of the teeth involve a crown, well, now we're using our time more efficiently to, restore the rest of the quadrant while the crown's in the middle. Like it's just, these are not new ideas to dentistry, but they're fun to implement. So we're enjoying it.
Do you have I don't know if your state has the regulations or not. Do you have your assistants helping with that?
So Georgia is way, way behind every other state. We were like one of the last 4 states to allow hygiene anesthesia. We were one of the last states to allow people to like practice when they're not there, or like have a hygienist do a prophy on a patient if you're like running to the bank. Like you couldn't do that until recently. So the most we can do here is like they can run the mill, but I still have to do the final scan, and it's not a big deal. It's just like doing a final impression. Those are kind of the regulations here. So I hand off everything I can. I don't. This stuff's cool, but it's not that cool. I got other things to do. So yeah.
One of the things that you mentioned a little earlier was investing in training, and that being a secret to delegation, and just taking the time, like investing the time to that. So bringing in the technology that you have brought in. I believe you brought in like Overjet also, in addition to the Combi.
Love it.
And
Love
you
it.
do, you love that.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me about what it means to implement with the team. So I think from the innovator's heart, so we're going to take the clinician's innovator's heart, and you're like, okay, we're going to try this. We're bringing it in. And the team is like,
Team's like, oh God, not again.
another thing. Yeah. What am I
Yeah, it's
learning?
one more thing I have to learn, and I don't want to learn anything. And my team is they're a more mature team. Like until my office manager was hired, I was the youngest person here by like 15 years, and I'm not young. Like I'm in my 40s. So
We're still young.
that's what I'm trying to hang on to it. But it's not like this was a team of like 22-year-olds that are super cool with computers and technology. That's like something they didn't grow up with, and that has its own challenges because it takes more training, and you have to be a lot more patient. And I've had better luck with technology when we spend more time explaining why we're doing this. So like we added Florida probe for the voice dictation for the hygienists, and that looked very like cumbersome and like more to get in the way when they were trying to learn it. But once the training was finished, which Florida probe had pretty good virtual training, it actually worked better than I thought. And once they got caught up to speed, they're like, oh my God, can't go back. Like I don't have to have someone like writing numbers on a page, or I don't have to like try to reach the keyboard, which is like impossible. So once you explain why you're going to do it, what the benefit is, and what the benefit to them would be, then you get a little more buy-in, but you kind of have to demonstrate it in person after a while. Spend time training.
You talking about trusting but verifying from a leadership perspective right now, it takes a lot of trust for a team to say, okay, we'll go through this frustration together. And oftentimes I find it's little micro moments that build up enough trust. So you coming in what, 2013 it was, to today, I think explaining the why is one of those secrets, and showing them how they apply to it. Are there other areas, if you can really think deeply? I just want you to reflect on how you approach integrating the technology from a team perspective, and let us know what little moments maybe make that difference that might be normally overlooked?
Yes. So depending on the technology, I like to um, not to say delegate again, but like pick someone to kind of take point. Not not to learn it all or be the best, but just to help with the coordination. And the jumps we see are when it's the team helping the team and they solve a problem together without me involved. It's better if I'm not around. Like I'm just gonna be over. I don't want to be overbearing. And they get a win. Like they're like it clicks. But whatever part of the process they're working on, like, oh, that's how you design the crown. Now it looks like a tooth. That's awesome. Then when you see a little cheer, then it's like, all right, we're moving forward. This is gonna work.
I've always said, I mean, people want two things in life. They want to contribute, I mean, from a work sense, they want to contribute to a mission that's bigger than them, and they want to understand how their role is important and contributes to the mission. I'm curious, since you did not have an office manager before, brought one in April, have trained them, invested some time in them, do you think your culture has shifted, improved, changed in any way?
I think so. I think we've gotten just another layer of stability, and it's it's setting us up well for the future. I think as long as we can keep a good atmosphere, um, keep the team excited, not burned out, and really enjoying helping all these great patients. I mean, we've got the best patients in town. It's obscene. Um, we're just feel lucky.
Do you think that this exciting, technology drives culture in the practice, or do you think culture drives technology adoption?
Yeah, it's culture first. It's always culture. Yeah, the technology is just the icing on the cake. I mean, because you can have all the cool technology, but patients don't want it, or the team doesn't appreciate it, and they don't want to use it. Then they're gonna find ways to avoid it, and it's just gonna be huge headaches.
One of the gifts I think of being in our 40s or whatever age we're at is we have no choice but to live through frustrations and live through unknown scenarios. So, if you could go back, to 2013 even, or even
Sure.
just a few years ago, I'll give you a little bit of a friction point. Are there some things that you would say to Dr. Comer, to look out for, kinda knowing that we kinda have to go through these challenges, it makes
Oh
us
yeah.
better leaders, but if there's somebody listening today and you would say, "Hey, watch out for this," what would it be?
Oh, I would to go back in time and do it over. I would probably invest in team training as soon as possible because I was notorious. I'm one of the, and I'm sure a lot of it's a lot of people like this where I love all the C courses. I love learning specific, like intentionally choosing courses to add to your product mix. And, I try to hit 100 hours a year. Like I do all the stuff. I love it. But I should have throttled back on that and put more into team training. It's just such a no brainer. But, that's hindsight. That's part of the fun. So for the younger dentists, it's like get into ownership as quickly as possible and get your team trained up and everyone on the same page as fast as possible. And I think your growth would be just through the roof.
When you say ownership, you mean business ownership, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You got to get out of an associateship. You got to own a practice or practices, whatever your dream is, but you just need to.
So what does 2026 look like for you?
I think 2026 looks to us like a good year, and it's going to be more like polishing up rough edges more than uh, really big rocky changes. It should just be kind of fine tuning.
How does that feel emotionally to you?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't mind the big changes. None of it's been upsetting or stressful. Like it's just more challenges, and you just take care of them as they come along. So I'd like to say like, oh, I feel the weight lifted, everything's easy. I just keep going to work. It's all good. I'm not going to worry about a couple bad days at the office. That's just crazy. So it's just been a bit of a fun ride so far. I love dentistry. I would highly recommend it to anyone that's ever thought about it. It's the coolest gig.
Even in today's world, like that is all over the message boards that I see. People coming in and being like, should I even attempt at being a dentist in this day and age? Why do you say that?
Oh yeah. Well, it's like, you know, th- if you, I guess for the young people choosing a career, they've got to weigh options like, what's my future income level? What's the risk of AI replacement? Where can I live and do what I want to do? I don't know. I think dentistry offers a lot, and it's not easy by any means. There's easier ways. If your goal is just to make X amount of dollars, like, I mean, there's a lot of ways to do that. I got my degree in finance, and I don't remember any of it. I couldn't tell you the first thing about like stocks or bonds. I don't know. It just all pushed out. But
You got your bachelor's in that?
yeah, yeah. So there's the thing. That's why I'm wearing a vest. It's like a finance bro. You have to legally. I don't even want to. But I would say, you could take the finance route. I could go back in time, leave college, go into banking, probably make more money, probably work less. Yeah, but dentistry's just fun. This is a cool gig. So I don't know. I think young people, I would keep it on them. I would keep it on the list. It's a great one.
As long as they enjoy it and it's fun. I think I think when people are actually enjoying what they do and having fun work, I know it's cliche, but it does. It stops feeling like work. And it feels to me like you like just you embodying that probably subconsciously ripples out through your team anyway, because you want to be there.
Oh yeah, and your patients, they don't walk in and go, "Oh, doc's in a terrible mood. He must
Right.
be one of those statistics," and you're like, "Oh." But a lot of people, well, it's a tricky proposition because you really don't know if you're going to like this job until you get into it, and you've already invested a lot of time and money, and so a lot of people are stuck in it. And I'm just lucky in the sense that it's just been a good fit, and I like it. But I don't begrudge dentists that do not like it because it's definitely not a career for everyone, but it is still very fun.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Dr. Comer. It's been really eye-opening to understand, that true growth really isn't linear. It can be cyclical, and understanding the rhythms of that can help us have better
Mhm.
emotional intelligence to weather the ups and downs. And if you're staying in the game with something that's fun, you will end up seeing success and serving patients in a way that just feels great.
Oh, it's a blast. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Everyday Practices Podcast. It would mean the world if you can help spread the word by sharing this episode with a fellow dentist and leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify. Do you have an extraordinary story you'd like to share or feedback on how we can make this podcast even more awesome? Drop us an email at podcast@productivedentist.com. And don't forget to check out our other podcasts from Productive Dentist Academy at productivedentist.com/podcasts. See you next week.